All of the views and opinions expressed here are those of the individual speaking and may not be representative of Konig American. At times, language may be considered vulgar. Listener discretion is suggested.
You are now listening to the Konig Behind the Wheel podcast.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Zombie Apocalypse. I'm fogging up here. I'm Scott from Konig. this is over. I'm Scott from Konig, and with me is
Nick
from Konig.
Hey guys.
Yeah, so we're here Wednesday. It's man, they talk about the difference of weekdays.
Yeah. last week everybody was allowed to be working, you know.
Right.
Everybody was allowed to be out, and little by little there have been more restrictions coming out. But then they're also kind of switching up, you know.
I don't know. It's been pretty interesting to kind of see the progression of this whole thing and kind of see how people saw it happen overseas, saw it happen to, people always like, oh, the thing in China, the thing in China.
Yeah,
the thing in
and
China.
little by little it's been growing and growing and growing and growing. And now it's actually growing at a much more exponential rate. Like the number of cases confirmed is just increasing.
Well, I mean, that's what's going to happen. So, so look, we talked about this a few weeks ago on our podcast. We said how is this virus going to be affecting, the automotive industry. We talked about,
Right.
Car shows, potentially getting canceled at that point.
Which they did.
And if you look now, Formula Drift Long Beach is donezo. And I think they're going to try to reschedule. And then also, I believe that we're really right on the verge for losing FD Atlanta as well.
Yeah.
So
when is that supposed to be?
I think it's around the end of April. But they have about a 30-day window where I think Ryan Sage had said it on a podcast. He basically had talked about how if FD gets about 30 days out from an event and they feel that they can't properly promote, work the logistics, that whole thing,
Right.
that they would just not do it. And so I think we're greatly in jeopardy, especially with the California order of, safer at home put into place. Only a few days ago. I think we're right in that window of, I don't think it's going to be able to be
Possible.
Yeah. So we're there. So more states have now increased their rules and regulations for what businesses are deemed essential and how they stack up. You're going to have a lot of automotive companies that unfortunately are going to have to either operate from a from home model, or depending on where their logistics locations are, have to begin shutting down. That could potentially get a lot worse before it gets better.
Yeah.
So some things that we talked about in the first run of when we talked about this topic a few weeks ago. Productions, even if you don't manufacture here. So if you do manufacture here, you probably are impacted greatly right now.
Yeah, because you can't go in.
Yeah, I think if I'm correct, I think we're looking at I think the safer in homes kind of order is New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, I think Connecticut and Massachusetts are on some sort of limited restrictions.
Something like that.
You have, I think Michigan was just recently announced.
California.
Illinois, California, I think Texas is, Florida, I'm pretty sure they're on some sort of modified schedule. And I think it's going to happen through many other states as we move forward. And the reason is because this thing does travel. And there's a question, I think, that's out there about how long this has been in the country, where it's been, stuff like that. So we're not going to go in there. We're not doctors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently a while though.
What's that?
Apparently some articles go back Anyways.
So
besides the fact.
Look, I mean, we hope that you and your families and everything like that, you're not affected by this thing. But if you are, look, from the automotive perspective, and that's the only part we're going to really speak of because that's the part we know.
Right.
You have a lot of companies that are not going to be, they're going to go slow into production. Some companies were slower in the beginning because they may have manufactured overseas.
Mm-hmm.
Some companies maybe get materials and different things from overseas. So what they're having trouble
getting those parts to manufacture whatever it is they need in order to push the products out, even if they're not manufacturing over there.
Right. They may have other things, boxes, paints, tooling, whatever it may be.
The smallest things that'll back up the whole production line.
Yeah. So there's that going on, and then now if you manufacture here, now you have these kind of essential business closures and stuff like that. So look. There's a good chance that some of your parts that you've been looking for are going to be delayed, and it's we have been suffering from some of these closures and close downs and slowdowns and bottlenecks, all along. I mean, whether it be getting product in or getting parts in or getting different things in, there always seems to be some, and it may not be directly that company, the wheels, whatever, but it may be another piece of the supply chain that's caused an issue, which is holding things up, and it stinks. I mean, what really became apparent was wheels like the hexaform, the countergram, and even some of the newer hypergrams that everybody had said, where are they? Where are they? Where are they? And we were like, oh, March. That slowly pushed into April, because there were some slowdowns and some things.
Right.
And now we're like, hopefully soon. Like, we don't know. We have ETAs and dates that are constantly updating. The question is, we've experienced, we're almost tentative to try to give some of those dates out now because we've seen them get pushed a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's hard.
Yeah, you don't want to keep giving a date and be like, like by the end of this month, and then it keeps going on and on. And it's tough because you don't really know, because it's not like we decided let's close the factory. Like the government is like, no, like you can't work, and there's no saying for how long.
Right.
So that's the sucky part of it.
Right. Like I don't know when my kids are going back to school.
Yeah.
So it's, what I mean? Like if you just think about it from that perspective, like if you just really get super granular with it and say, I don't even know if my kids are going to go back to school this year, it becomes tougher. Now, with that said, we are doing everything we absolutely can to get wheels here. And we have wheels landing all the time, and we have wheels in stock all the time. But I will tell you, the same way there was panic buying, I know this sounds really weird, the same way there was panic buying in grocery stores with toilet paper and essentials and meats and different things like that.
Are people panic buying wheels?
So it's not that people are panic buying wheels. What's happening is, some of the retailers are realizing that, for a long time, a lot of these things was a very JIT model, and JIT means just in time. And what that basically means is that people, when you guys ordered your wheels, they would order, or they'd bring in part of an order, and they would have X amount of wheels brought to them, and then they would ship them out to you, or something to that effect. Now it's becoming one of those things where a lot of the people that did not, or has slowed down in stocking because they figured, we'll make the manufacturer hold it, are going, oh, wait a minute, I'm going to be competing against every single other one of these things.
So they're trying to stock up themselves. That way they still have product to push out.
Yeah, so what's ended up happening is there's some retailers that have, out of nowhere, out of our forecasting, have come in and say, you know what, we'll take all of those. We have a given part number on the hypergram, or this or that, or whatever it may be, oversteers, whatever it may be. You know what? Just you got 100 of them. We'll take them. We'll just take all of them.
Wow.
And what ends up happening is then you call your local retailer to place back, and they say, oh, they're on back order, which is true. But there may be a retailer out there that does have them. So, the hard part is, how do we, it's very tough to tell you. So, look, I mean, sorry, this is a very unusual circumstance for a lot of people. It's impacting everybody at this point, the entire world. I was speaking to people in Australia yesterday, the day before, I was talking to some of the people that we know in the UK. Some of the people definitely overseas, and some of the, the other parts of the world. And, the more I speak to people, the more I realize everybody is impacted. Everybody. Canada, Mexico, United States, Australia, South America, everybody. And it may not even be that country. You may go to a country and they're not really seeing the effects of the virus locally, but they're still having trouble getting certain things.
Right. Because it's affecting like another part where they would usually source something from.
So I guess going on to that thought, we're going to be making a little video, I think, at some point. But so here's some ideas you can occupy your time with, right? What were some words we had? So here's one. I'll start one off, and then you take it, right? So this is a good time, and if you're, first off, let me start by saying this: if you're out of work, if you've been laid off, if you've been furloughed, if times are tough, we're really sorry. I mean, really, genuinely, truly sorry. This thing, if anybody's sick, I can't even imagine. I mean, honestly, now I know people that are starting to get sick. We're in New York, and unfortunately,
it's scary because like here everybody is like on top of each other. Especially out by me. The case numbers just keep growing in neighborhoods that are like not too far away.
Yeah,
very short drive. So,
and this is the closest Nick and I have gotten at all, and we've been very good about, there's really nobody here in our office, and we're so greatly distanced from each other.
Right. I have my own room, so
yeah. And there's not a lot of we're exercising work from home as much as possible. We are still open and facilitating your business and orders, and we're using different logistics centers, and we're doing our absolute best to maintain the status quo. So that part is good. But, look, if anybody's affected and furloughed and the whole thing, terrible, feel really bad for you. Now, here's one of the things, if you're going to have to look at a slight bright side or upside, is that what this has really done is caused a lot of people to slow down. You know what I mean? Like, just slow down. Like, I know that my weekends, everything that I've ever had planned on any weekends, whether it be my kids' stuff or my stuff, whatever, it's canceled.
Yeah, so there's nothing to do.
Right. So I've been utilizing my time, like, working in the garage, right? So we were talking this morning, we were like, let's come up with some tips for the car guy at home that can't get his parts in, can't order his parts, right?
Yep.
That only should have some regular car guy things in stock.
Yeah, just some stuff you can do while you're stuck at home.
Right.
If you're self-quarantining or you're out of work,
or you're trying to keep your social distance,
or just trying to keep your social distance, keep busy.
So
and it's also like if you are working from home, you even still have that time because that commuting time is gone.
Right. Like, so if you're doing your day, I wish that was how it works. I mean, like I feel like I work more when I work. But if you're doing your day here, you'll get off work and you're done.
You're done. You're already home. So
for most states, you have to be like savings time, so you're getting a little bit more light.
Right.
Yeah.
So we came up with a few ideas of some car stuff you can do at home where you don't need to order parts, you don't need to go out and buy anything or anything like that.
And some of these things are going to be like, yeah, of course, but look, I mean, what do you want from us? Like, yeah. All right. So first, number one is you can clean your car. I mean, this is a good time that you could just go nuts.
Just go all out. You can wash the exterior, interior, clean your windows. You can clean the engine bay if you want to. You can clean the underbody. Just go all out, detail it.
You can take wheels off your car, clean your wheels, wax,
the back
wax
of the
your
wheels.
wheels, or whatever you want to do. Coat your wheels if that's your thing. You can, again, not that we endorse any of those products per se, but this is a good time if you do that stuff anyway to do it. You can go through, really detail your car, clean the interior, get the brushes, get all the garbage out, vacuum,
everything.
Do all the
Leaves,
fine and gritty stuff.
Leaves will creep up on you and stick in places you never thought were possible.
Well, for some states. Yeah. So really, this is a good time. You can go through. You should have car wash soap. You're a regular car person, so you would have been having some of that stuff. You should probably have some detailing supplies. So go through, take the time, give your ride the love that you can. Right?
Yeah.
Now, there's still some stores open. So this is also a good time that if you have any minor cosmetic body touch-ups that you want to make, but you have to wait for things to dry. I'll give you a good example. Let's say you have that lip kit that you've been waiting to paint, or you want to touch up your front lip kit or anything like that. I know that was something that was on my checklist. So this weekend I'm taking off my front lip. I'm going to put it on 2 horses. I already have the aerosol matching paint for my car.
Right.
I'm going to clean that thing up. I'm going to prep it, and I'm going to, clean it up and just respray the parts that have gotten junked up, right? So this is a good time for that. I have plenty of time to let it dry and get it back on the car without the car having to move.
Yeah. And you just mentioned having parts. I don't remember exactly what you said, but having parts.
Sure.
So that's another point. If you have been stocking up, especially if you're in like the Northeast or anywhere north where like you have to deal with winter and it's too cold to be outside, it's starting to get warmer out. You know, so this is also a good time if you've been stocking up on parts. Start putting them on the car. Yeah. So put some rest time in your car.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's cold, glove up, hat up, throw that hoodie on there, and get out there. And, look, you got the time. So even if it takes you, you work for 20 minutes and take a hot chocolate break for 20 minutes, like whatever you got going on, but maybe get out there and just, start to work on putting some of those parts on the car. Take the pile down so when this thing is over and we're ready to go back to regular life. Your
car is that much closer to being done, or you got all those parts out the way and you can work on the next modifications you have.
There are a lot of people right now that are probably sitting, that are probably home or have a lot more time at home, even if they're working part-time or whatever it may be, that have had projects still, right? All right, so I've been working on this car with my friend, so we spent some time, welding in the frame rails and getting the trans tunnel in. I stopped by my other friend's house last week. Again, when I say I stopped by, I mean I'm the only other person that was there, and the truth is we were incredibly far apart. I mean, but he needed some help with some wiring, so he was working on something else in the other part of his garage, and I stopped by and I literally did a lot of pinouts for his ECU and kind of got that cable made and stuff like that, just to give him a little help, and it kind of helped me from being so bored anyway.
Gave me something to do.
So there was that, and then look, if you have those projects going on, and especially if you're by yourself, this is a good time to knock a few of them out.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it's not totally the content is car related, but I know I'm a little backed up on media content. Yeah. So I use that time to
just lock in
and get some edits done.
Yeah. What's another tip that we can go ahead and do?
Damn, we wrote these down.
So another tip that you can do is
I don't remember them. Inspecting things, yes.
This is a topic that often, listen, everybody, I think, for the most part, a lot of people are super guilty of this, and I'm included, right? Like you put parts on a car, and then you take for granted that they wear, or how are they wearing it, or different things like that, right? Do we go through and check all the air pressures in our daily? Do we go through and do we go through and check the brake levels? Do we go through and make sure that all the suspension components are good? Oil changes, oil checks, fluid checks. I mean, look, you got the time. If you have the time, rotating tires. If you have the time, go out there and do that stuff.
I'm laughing because Scott and I had a conversation this morning about how I haven't checked my tire pressure in a while.
Well, let me dictate how the conversation went. It started I think you see that, and we're staring at his car in the park. I'm like, no, and he's like, I think my left wheel might be cambered in a little bit. And I'm like, well, maybe a touch. And I'm like, how can you even tell? He's like, well, it's pulling to the left, right? And I said, he's like, well, maybe it's I'm like, did you check your air pressure? He's like, no. The first thing you check when you pull.
For something that hard, I get it pulls hard. It's not like a slight.
Does it pull when you brake?
Yeah.
Okay. So you gotta start with the beginning though. the first thing you do is check all air pressures. Make sure
Inspect their stuff. Being that we have time,
Yeah.
we know what we're doing this weekend. Well, I know what I'm doing this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, but go through your stuff. Like jack up one side of the car. Get under there. Make sure your ball joints are good. Make sure your tie rod ends are good. You jiggle the wheel. If you don't know how to, you got YouTube and the internet, and we'll tell you all this stuff.
Yeah, maybe we'll do a video on it using my daily.
Maybe. Check tire pressures. Look at tires. Make sure your wear patterns are good. Go through. Make sure all your car has all the fluids it needs. Anything you can think of, because now is a good time, especially since auto parts stores really have been ordered to be open.
Yeah, because
they're essential businesses.
They're essential businesses. Yeah.
So you can go through and maybe find, all right, you know what? Time to change some pads. Time to redo the fluids. This fluid looks dirty. You know what? Got some time. Let me do it.
Right.
Right.
So
that's the next one. What I think we had.
Well, mentioning fluids, we also said check for leaks or anything like that. You gotta top everything off. But if you notice that anything's going low, see if any of your hoses are leaking. Being that auto supply stores are open, you can change your hoses out. Things like that. You already mentioned brake pads, rotors, and anything like that can wear down. Now's a good time to take care of it.
Yeah, we had something else too.
Did we?
Mm-hmm.
I put a poll up on Instagram, seeing what some people were doing.
I know. This is one that, because I mentioned in the beginning. Listen, if you are a car person and you have a garage space, or if you just have tools.
Oh, I remember.
This is a good time.
Oh, yes.
To spend some time and get yourself organized. Maybe it's cleaning out your garage space. Maybe you don't have a garage. Maybe it's a bag in the back of your trunk. Go through your tools, see what's missing, clean some stuff off, put it in an organized fashion so that you're ready to go. So Nick's had a toolbox for a while, but he's still got all his tools in a bag somewhere.
Oh my gosh, I haven't organized any of it. And all right, so I kind of have two garages now. So I mean, I do have two garages, but one is my family's garage, and then I'm also renting out my neighbor's garage to put both my cars in. So my family's garage, being that all their stuff is in there, and I gotta put my tools in there also because they don't fit with both cars in the other garage, is it's super messy in there. So usually I'll do a job and I'll throw everything in the bag and do that. So that's definitely on my to-do list of things to do, is organize that toolbox I just got. Just organize that particular garage in general, because there's a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah. It's weird because for me, I actually spent a lot of time. One of my big projects, I plan to have different season projects, but one of my winter projects, while it was kind of too cold to do too much, was to get my garage cleaned up and sorted and organized. So I did that. Cleaned out all my cabinets, organized everything, so all the tapes were together and different, all the supplies were together, lug nuts and all the lug nuts together in boxes. Everything is organized now. I did the same thing for my tools. I went through all my benches and all my drawers and made sure that everything was organized in the right fashion, cleaned up. Anything I was missing, honestly, I probably spent a few $100 on tools, but not buying new tools, replacing tools that I had either holes for, sockets that I was missing. Right. It's just because it drives me nuts. You go look for something, and
you don't have a complete set.
Yeah, I mean, so I have tons of sockets.
And that's my problem with the tool bag is, even if I use the what are those called? That hold the sockets on it.
Ratchet?
No, not the ratchet.
Socket holders?
There you go, socket holders. Yeah, so even if I use those, they always come off.
Well, that's why you should put them in your toolbox.
Yeah, but I just got the toolbox.
So anyhow, so I spent the whole time. I moved my air compressor. I ran new air lines. I made copper air manifolds and everything. So I have drops of air inlets in different spots. Put valves in, and kind of just tried to make things a little bit more accessible. I actually put some lighting up just to make it a little easier on my eyes when I'm working on the bench and stuff like that. So look, I mean, this is a good time to go through your stuff, organize your stuff, get things ready, because at some point it's going to get, in some states it is warm. Go to Florida, they've been working on cars the whole time.
Yeah, but I was specifically talking about up here.
I'll tell you, I can't wait for this stuff to get better. Dry skin goes away. I feel like I'm cracking and bleeding.
See, and you wanted to make fun of me bringing lotion, And now look
Well, you know,
at
it's because I work on cars, so like, I'm like cracking all over the place. Anyhow, I think that's pretty much it, right? We don't have too much.
I think that's it. Oh wait, let's
Go to the gram.
let's go to the gram.
Let's go to the gram.
And see what
Anybody else have some stuff?
Yeah, let's see what some of you guys are doing while you're at home. So let's see. So the question was pretty much this. It was, what are some car related things you're doing stuck at home? So
Right.
we have a few responses here. So I'm currently changing all the gold on my car to purple. I don't know if he's talking about paint or wrap or something. Something on his car was purple.
But it's a good point. You know,
It was gold.
paint
So-
or plasti dip or vinyl or whatever
Or
you're
whatever it
doing.
is. Yeah, like you mentioned,
You got time. It
you're-
takes the time to take it off and dry it and leave it off. And,
Right, like you said, you're going to be working on your lips. So
Yeah.
Awesome. Let's see. We just talked about this one. Cleaning the garage first off, then upgrading some turbo goodies. Ooh, want to know what kind of turbo goodies he's got. But
yeah, it's a good time to get to those parts that have been laying there.
yeah. Let's see. Plugging a tire that got a nail in it, and hopefully repainting my Brembos soon. Nice.
Oh, listen, I'll give him credit for the Brembo repaint, but the tire plug is something that you would have to do no matter what. And I would even argue to say that it only takes like 6 or 7 minutes.
Yeah. Well.
Anyhow.
Some people don't have those 6
But-
or 7 minutes.
Yes, I do. So, but repainting the Brembos is a project that takes time.
That sounds cool. Cleaning the interior. Yes, we also spoke about cleaning the cars. Man, Scott, we have to do a video on this. I'm going to do almost all of these things to my car. All right, cleaning the interior and head gasket. Well, hopefully that's not something I need to do with my car. But cool, this dude's going to be working on his head gasket.
I want to change a head gasket on the side of the expressway. It's a little tidbit.
On the side of the expressway?
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
No, it wasn't. I don't know if it was fun, but
How long did that take you?
2.5 hours. There's a couple of us, but 2.5 hours. Somebody blew the head.
Eclipse.
What?
Eclipse.
It was an eclipse. Yeah. It was back in the day. blew the head gasket and stuff like that. And so
Gosh.
yeah, the car, we just couldn't move the car, and like back in those days, YOLO, right? It didn't even. Well, there was. We were.
Listen. If you haven't had to fix your car on the side of the road for one reason or another, are you really a car enthusiast?
I will say in head gasket might have been the more extreme repair I think I've done, but
I had to bleed my brakes by myself on the side of the road one time. That was fun.
there's another topic for another day. Anyhow, so if you're in the process of social distancing, we wish you well. Hopefully you'll use this time productively if you have it, and if you are an essential worker, thank you for keeping our country moving still, while everybody else is, kind of being forced to take a little break. So, hopefully everybody's doing well. Hopefully you continue to remain healthy. Do your best to exercise your social distance and wherever you can, and let's see if we can kick this thing, man. Right? All right. Well, I guess that's it. It's Wednesday, so we will be going live at 3 p.m. Eastern. The question is, where will we be? We don't know. Where will we be? Will it be me? Will it be Nick? Will it be both of us? I don't know what we're going to do yet.
Will we be in separate locations sharing? No idea.
No one knows because, we're just trying to get this shot and then we're out. So, but the truth is, make sure you tune in. We'll try to do something Wednesday. If we don't do it on Wednesday this week, maybe we'll move to Thursday. I'm not really sure, but we're gonna we're gonna live in. We're gonna do a live. So that's it. We're trying to put up stuff on our YouTube channel. If you haven't done that, make sure you head over to our YouTube channel. We forgot to do the like and subscribe thing in the beginning, but my audio may or may not be there anyway. So
That's
anyhow,
okay. We'll figure that out. I'll put the animation in.
till next time. Stay safe, be well, and we'll catch you next week.
Peace.